Shalom and good day all. This is Tehillim29 back again for another DC comic review. And in this DC comic review, I will be reviewing the Dead Boy Detectives of the Sandman universe. And as you can see here, we have two particular covers because I'm reviewing issue 2 and issue 3. And moving into first things first, do these covers in any way, shape, or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough, they do, to which I give the first cover on the left-hand side a 7.5 out of 10. Plus, I think it's the nicer of the two. And moving into issue 3, which I give a 7 out of 10. We will now move to having a look at the internal art as well as what's happening story-wise with both of these issues and also the characters, as we have a look at the art and the rating for the art. So starting things off as we move into issue 2, we've got quite a number of characters on the scene. We of course have Charles and Edwin, who are the main sort of like Dead Boy detectives on the case, as well as some people that they've met along the way. As we jump towards the middle of the story, we encounter something that's been made from necromancy, which will be learned about in the next issue. And we also catch up with some of the characters from the previous series. And jumping towards the end of the story, we get to catch up with both Charles and Edwin as they overlook the case and what's also been happening. It's now time to jump into issue 3 and some of the internal art there before it's rating. So as we start to move into the beginning of issue 3, we see that some magic has been used at play in the world of the Dead Boy Detectives. And this is where we learn of some of the necromancy at play. As the story advances, they end up catching up with one of their friends at the Payne and Roland Detective Club, and get their help as they return to England. Jumping a little bit further into the story, one of the characters which we meet in the previous issue happens to turn into the snake that we see here, and the character's name is called Melvin. And last but not least, we move towards the end as we learn a little bit more about his character and what happened in their life. And so for the internal art rating, seeing it's quite consistent between both issues, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Now moving into the area of the story. Now first things first, to those who follow my channel, I do like to sort of like have 4 separate areas to which it has to meet a criteria, or it meets the criteria of these things. If any of these criteria aren't quite met, there is a possibility of loss of points depending on how good the story turns out to be or how bad the story turns out to be. So, did we get any references to any of the previous issues or even some connected to the Dead Boy Detective series in the Sandman universe? No, we didn't. The next is the area of time. I think time would have really helped both of these issues quite a lot, especially in relation to some of the investigations that the Dead Boy Detective is doing. The next area is that of location. Again, the locations weren't very clear, but I had to sort of like record down of what I could make out. We had, of course, some houses as well as a hospital, and of course the Dead Boy Detectives Club. But overall, they weren't really recorded there. They should have been recorded there, as it makes it to a good story. Moving into last but not least, and that is the cast of characters. So, who did we see in the cast of characters? We had Charles, we had Edwin, we had Jai, we had Melvin, we had Tanya, I think it's Dawn, Crystal, and Pim Patong, who also showed up in issue 2, and we got to learn about them. For the overall story rating, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.